See, this board, or this anti-diversity group, violates its own ethical standards when it makes decisions contrary to sound research. Because their own standards say they're supposed to look at what the research says. Diversity, as an educational strategy portion, works to offset the negative consequences of racially identifiable high-poverty schools. A UNC study showed that and indicated that just as much attention needs to be paid to ensuring that schools are integrated and to reducing classroom concentration of children reading below grade level as to strengthening the curriculum program. The research teaches us that racial and economic diversity alone should not be expected to solve all the challenges. But at the same time, the research informs us that racial and economic diversity are far more beneficial conditions than racial and economic segregation, which are associated with poor learning and life outcomes. In the largest study of its kind, Professor Douglas Harris used data from 22,000 schools to consider the effects of segregation on achievement test scores. After controlling the other factors, Harris found that Latino, African American gains in math were far greater in diverse schools than segregated ones. The weight of social science evidence demonstrates that racially diverse schools are associated with achievement in reading. A recent study found that diverse high schools, 25 to 54% students of color, have smaller racial gaps in reading than schools with extremely high or extremely low portions of students of color. The PRAC, Poverty and Race Research Action Council, produced an annotated bibliography, The Impact of School-Based Poverty Concentration of Academic Achievement and Student Outcome. And their research overwhelmingly shows that wherever there are high levels of resegregation, wherever you have racially identifiable schools, they are most often high poverty schools, high teacher turnover schools, underfunded schools, high dropout schools, and low achieving schools that face an even another problem. And that is, if the children can be isolated, then they have the parents and the children face the additional political problem of the lack of political will to change the condition of the school. And this was noted not 50 years ago, but about 2 months ago, when North Carolina lost the grant Race to the Top. One of the reviewers of the grant said the reason we lost it, listen, because in North Carolina, there's a lack of policies to ensure that local school boards distribute funding equally between high poverty schools and other schools. Reviewers also noted that North Carolina does not have equitable distribution of effective teachers and principals in high poverty and high minority schools. And they cited lackluster recent trends in closing the achievement gap that plague resegregated high poverty schools. There does not appear to be any policies, this is what the reviewer said, the reason we lost the Race to the Top grant. There does not appear to be any policies promoting the equitable funding of high poverty schools with local school systems. So who you gonna trust, the anti-diversity caucus or the research? Serious research further shows, 1, stopping resegregation and supporting socioeconomic diversity is the law. Let's start right there. Not a feeling, it's the law. Somebody say it's the law. Number 2, stopping desegregation and supporting socioeconomic diversity promotes higher academic achievement for all students and attracts and retains high-quality teachers. 3, stopping desegregation and supporting socioeconomic diversity benefits overall school ecology by promoting a culture of success. And these are all documented and will be on our website with footnotes. Number 4, school resegregation and supporting socioeconomic diversity promotes schools to become economical. 5, stopping resegregation and supporting school economic diversity promotes schools to have higher levels of parent involvement. 6, stopping resegregation and supporting socioeconomic diversity promotes schools and teaching children the necessary skills to succeed in a global economy. 7, stopping resegregation and supporting socioeconomic diversity in schools will benefit our most at-risk students. That's what the truth is. The truth is, according to the Charles Hamilton Houston Institute for Racial Justice, and for the young folk, Charles Hamilton Houston was the lawyer that trained Thurgood Marshall. Somebody said, teach him here. He was the lawyer that trained Thurgood and led the way before Thurgood when Thurgood was messing around in class and wasn't doing what he was supposed to. That's a true story. You know, Thurgood finally got serious, you know. But the Charles Hamilton Houston Institute for Racial Justice produced a study called Diversity Matters, Michael. And they said that the knowledge base on the benefits of racial and economic diversity and the harm of racial isolation has been growing steadily since 1990. Students from all racial and economic backgrounds benefit from diversity. Their study said the weight of social science evidence demonstrates that racially diverse schools are associated with achievement in math. The research said the weight of social science evidence demonstrates that racially diverse schools are associated with achievement in reading. And racially diverse learning environments are associated with critical thinking skills, intellectual engagement, and reduction in racial stereotyping. In other words, the more we get together, the better we will be. But the research also says that resegregated schools have an impact on economics. According to a piece written, The Vicious Cycle, Segregated Housing, Schools, and Intergenerational Inequality by Gary Oldfield, published in August 2006, that you can find correlation between segregated, high-poverty, racially identifiable schools and where business comes. Where development happens. And we have to understand that side of it too. That there's an economic payoff somewhere to somebody if you can get all of the certain kinds of schools in your area. And yet, with all of this overwhelming research, the issue is not, and the issue has never been, whether our children have to sit next to white children to learn.